friends, welcome back to episode 6 of the Tabletop Tavern, Heir to Hell's Throne. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenny. I will be your dungeon master for this campaign. I will allow my lovely players to introduce themselves, with the exception of Ryan, who will be back next week as Galen Wayfair. Let's start with the lovely Victoria Shaz as Leon LaBelle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Victoria. I play Leon, and I'll be continuing to play Leon today.
Hi guys, I'm Doe, or Adoa Deer. I play Gris Littlefoot, and excited to be back today.
Hell yeah.
Hey friends, I'm Pippin, and I play Ariadne and Kailta, as I have done for the last 5 episodes, and will continue to do so unless Jenny gets mad at me.
Our constant fear.
Just me kicking you out. That wouldn't happen. I would kill you off first.
Exactly.
Well, let's just jump right in with a summary of what happened last episode. Episode 5. Our heroes, or, whatever you want to call them, found themselves in the tomb of the Stone King, following the prophecy discovered by Ari and Gris at the Library of Freylin. Well, within the tomb's many hallways, Leon discovered an unknown talent and another mysterious clue as to her heritage. And after descending a spiral staircase deep into the earth, the party discovered what seemed to be a cavernous crypt, at the center of which was a statue of a man lying on his back, snoring so loudly the room was shaking. As they approached this statue, the walls illuminated with blue text, which only one member of our party could read. Can we have that person read aloud what they care to share with the group from this text?
So the room lights up, obviously, and it's the same blue type of writing from the room that Leon was drawn into earlier. And this one says, "Remove the sleeper's crown of stone." It just says that repeated over and over and over again.
So,
remove the sleeper's crown of stone.
You read that aloud to the group?
Yes.
All right.
Leon is just kind of like looking at it really strangely, like, this is still really weird to her that she can understand this language and that, like, why can she understand this language, and what even is this? Why can she understand it? And
as Leon stands there puzzling over the nature of what these words mean, Galen, never one to back down from a challenge, especially when issued by nobility, darts forward towards the statue. And as he approaches the statue, you sort of walk behind him. He appears to be a statue of an elven man of approximately middle age. He's taller than the average elf, about 7 feet lying down, and he is carved in a shockingly lifelike manner. He's dressed in fine robes with a beard whose hairs appear to have been individually shaped from marble, and his hands are clasped against his chest, which seems to rise and fall with his breathing. On his head, seemingly unfastened, carved of a darker gleaming stone, sort of looks like volcanic obsidian, is a crown of 5 points. Before any of you can really react, Galen, recognizing this as an object of value that presumably, wow, I cannot speak today, I'm so sorry, presumably was mentioned on the walls, reaches out towards it as if to grab it.
Oh,
Galen!
God. Leon's like, Galen, what are you doing?
Despite your protests, he wraps his hand around the crown and begins to remove it from the statue's hand. Can I get everyone to roll for initiative, please?
Oh, no. Oh, we're off to the races. Okay.
9 + 3, 12.
That's a 2.
3.
Wow.
Kill me!
All right, give me a second here. I'm having a hard time getting my encounter thing to work. Okay, so we had a 12,
Okay, take your time.
a 3, and a 2. Who had the 12? Who had the 3? Who had the 2?
I had the 12.
I had the 3.
12,
Mine was a 2!
3, 2. Awesome. Cool.
Me.
Super cool. Super excited
That-
for you.
Wow.
Off to a great start, folks.
All right, so as Galen reaches and grabs the crown off the statue's head, the statue sits straight up and looks at you all with cold, unblinking stone eyes, and swipes a stone hand at Galen, which makes contact squarely with the side of his head.
Oh my god.
Galen's body sails across the room, slamming against a wall before crumpling to the ground, and the statue lets out a room-shaking roar. The room is illuminated by these blue lights, and it is very clear that unless you somehow defeat this monstrous guardian, you will not be getting out of this tomb alive.
Okay, good.
So I think at Gris hitting the wall, or not Gris, Galen. I'm Gris.
Galen,
Hello,
yeah.
where are we? Who am I? Sorry, that was out of character. At the sight of Galen hitting the wall, Gris kind of runs over to take a quick look at him, make sure he's okay, and kind of looks down at his body and starts like looking for wounds, looking for a head injury, and all of that.
All right, so let me get our map drawn out here of where we
Okay.
are. Like I said, I'm running the encounter builder for the very first time, and it is
Yeah, take your time. We're all learning.
No worries,
kind of a
Debbie.
piece of shit. So I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Let's get this.
In the
open.
meantime, Leon looks to Ari,
Yes.
and I feel like Leon's kind of in the middle. She's like, Gris has run over to where Galen is,
All right.
and then Ari, I feel like you were a little bit closer to Galen, mostly
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're just zoomy.
Yeah.
Just a little more zoomy than the rest of us, right?
Yeah, so I
feel
would
like
have been
Leon's
yes.
kind of in the middle. Yeah. So Leon looks to Galen. She goes, "Oh my god! Oh my! Is he dead?" Just saying this to Gris.
Just staring at the statue, very tall above me.
Is he breathing? Like, what is Gris? You're right there. Come on.
He's definitely breathing, but he's definitely
good, that's
not
great.
okay. He's definitely not okay. He's probably concussed. He hit his head on this wall really hard.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. Well, he's breathing. That's all that really matters.
Oh no.
Ari.
Okay. Well,
What do we do?
Jenny, how you doing?
I'm struggling. This is a fucking disaster.
Okay.
All right.
Take your time.
Much like the
No, it's not.
situation you are in. All right, sometimes you're going to have a rough start to an episode. All right, so we're just going to ignore the map altogether. Can I get everyone's base hit points? I can't open
Yeah.
up your character sheets right now.
I have 14.
17.
I have 17.
Okay, I need you to talk slower than that.
Sorry.
Gris,
My name is Leon LaBelle, and I have 14 hit points.
All right.
Gris and Ari both have 17.
17.
All right, I'm going to want you to keep track of your hit points. Let us start with Ari. You are currently probably about 10 feet from this stone creature that
Okay.
has really thoroughly beaten the shit out of Galen.
To Galen, yeah.
Where do you go from here?
Cool. Huh. Whew. Okay. Realizing that Galen is incapacitated and will not be of any fucking use,
Oh my god.
I close the 10 feet
All right.
and I start with so I close the 10 feet, unsheathing my short sword, and I fucking go for it.
All right, let's
Let's
have you
go.
roll a d20.
Okay. That's 12 plus 5, 17.
That actually lands. Let's have
go.
you. What are you attacking with?
Short sword.
All right, I'm going to need you to roll with disadvantage for damage. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I need you to roll with disadvantage for the original attack. So I need you to roll the d20 again.
Okay. Including like the last score, or do you want me to roll twice again?
So just roll one more time and give me the lowest of the two scores.
That was. What did I say the first time?
17.
The what?
The first one was a 17.
Oh, then that one's 17. The other one's 18 plus 5, 23.
Okay, all right.
Oh my
so your
God,
hit
you're
lands. Can
killing
you
it.
roll for damage, please?
Yeah. Also with disadvantage, or?
No.
Cool. 4 plus 3, 7.
Can I ask you a cantrip question, Jenny?
Yes.
For message, is that it says at will? So does that take up my action, or can I do that at any point in the battle?
DM rules, house rules. That's an action.
Okay. Fine.
All right. Next up is our boy, the Stone King, who is going to take a swipe at Ari. Ari, what is your AC?
Oh no.
It is. Oh wait, so is that the end of my? Does that have to be the end of my turn?
Do you have a bonus action?
Yeah.
Would you like to use your bonus action?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was just waiting for you to do your thing with Vic. Yes, I do take my bonus action. I spend a key point to do Flurry of Blows, which is an additional 2 unarmed actions. I get my elbows up in there.
The Stone King is immune to unarmed actions, so your bonus
Cool,
action
then that's
has no
the end of my
effect.
turn. Yeah.
All right. Next is going to be the Stone King, who turns to Ari, who has just come at them with their elbows. You can move back a total of 20 feet.
Sorry, repeat that?
You can move back a total of 20 feet.
Okay. Then I do that. I mean, that's still an opportunity attack, though, right? So. Oh, but I just wanted to know: have I spent the key point then in trying that?
Yes.
Cool.
So you basically just kind of slapped him, and he was non-responsive.
Yeah. Cool. Fair.
All right. So he
Fair.
moves forward 20 feet to Ari. Ari, what is your armor class?
15.
All right. That is an 8. He does not land his strike and sort of spins around in an awkward circle due to the weight of his frame.
I do zoom. I zoom out of the way.
As a
Go
reaction?
Like that. No, I just go like that.
Okay.
Because he didn't hit.
Okay. Next is going to be, I believe that is Leon.
Didn't Gris get a 3 and I got a 2?
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Okay, Gris.
Oh, I got the 2.
So, did I already use any action to come over to Galen, or was that before we started combat?
That was prior to combat.
Okay. Whew. So, Gris is currently looking at her friend and realizing, yeah, he's definitely fucked up, but he's gonna be okay. We got bigger fish to fry, and just like pats him on the shoulder and turns to their new foe.
Oh, that's a funny Triton joke.
And I'm dying at that. I'm just picturing shirtless Galen again, suddenly out of character. Sorry. I'm a little flustered. So Gris is currently, I guess, probably several feet away, correct, Jenny?
You have about 15 feet between you and the Stone King, as the Stone King has gone after Ari.
So, I think at this point, Gris is going to try and cast Frostbite at the Stone King.
Hang on.
It is technically a cantrip, but... And it's a d6.
All right. Can you roll for a d20?
Yep.
With nope, just roll a d20.
Okay. I hesitated and it went away. It disappeared.
Oh.
14.
That does not land.
Oh. So at this point, Gris is still over by Galen. Instead of moving forward, Gris stays where she is, but she does cast a bonus action upon her staff. She casts Chalet.
All right.
And I think that's end of turn for Gris.
All right, awesome. Leone,
Yes.
you have your chance to do magic. Let's see it happen.
Oh, okay. So, first question. Where is Ari in relation to me and the foe?
So Ari is going to be about 15 feet from you in one direction, and then the foe is going to be about 15 feet away from you, kind of diagonally from there, with 10 feet between him and Ari.
Okay, so I have a spell called Burning Hands that me in a 15-foot cone, each creature in that 15-foot cone potentially gets hit. Would Ari get hit by that?
Ari would need to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ari would get hit by that?
If Ari failed the dexterity
failed it,
saving
yeah.
throw.
Oh no,
But you can.
oh no,
try
you
it.
get hit even if you failed. So I'm
Right,
gonna
so
do
you
Magic
get-
Missile then.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Magic Missile then.
All right. Can I get you to roll a d20?
Yes. Do that?
Bottom left corner.
Yes. That's a 5.
That does not land. Ariadne, it
Absolutely
is
are
once
oats.
again your turn.
Once again, it's my turn. Awesome. Seeing that my fists are useless, I'm angry about it. But he didn't hit me, so I'm still more angry about it. So I did what my brain has recognized has worked. And I go in with my short sword again. I thrust.
All right, so I'm going to need you to once again roll a d20 with disadvantage.
Cool. All right. Damn. Okay, I got 6 plus 3, 11. 3, 11. No, one is 11. It's math. The answer is 11.
Okay, that does not land.
Yeah, I figured. The other one was 23, which is
All right,
unfortunate.
all right. The Stone King is still focused on you and reaches out.
Can I take a bonus action?
It depends on what it is.
Can I take patient defense and dodge for the rest of the turn? Or for the rest of this.
Okay,
You can,
yeah,
you can
go for
say
it.
no, but
Go for it.
cool. Then I spend. Oh, hold on. Oh my goodness! I spend my key point to patient defense. I get to take the dodge action and focus entirely on avoiding attacks. I'm ready on my feet until the start of my next turn. Any attack roll made against me has disadvantage. which I'm sure you
Yes.
know.
He's still going to try to hit you. I'm going to grab
I'm
another
sure.
d20 here.
But I am squishy and this helps.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but it's a 19 plus 10, which is 29. He is going to hit you with a slam attack, which does... How much HP do you have?
How much hit?
Yeah. it
17.
does- Okay, good. It does 9 damage.
Okay.
Whoa! Okay.
All right.
Panic, stress.
Ow!
Leon calls out, "Oh my god, Ari! Oh my god, are you okay?"
I'm fine. I just scrambled back. I was just like,
Gris, over by Galen, looks up from Galen's body slumped against the wall, and over at Ari, slumped also against maybe a wall, and it's like, Ari, are you all right?
I'm fine.
I'll be there in a second. Don't even worry. I'll be there in a second.
All right, next is Gris.
So Gris, coming to the defense of their best friend, the one and only Ariadne, is gonna try to make her way over to Ariadne.
Gris, what is your movement speed?
25 feet.
Great.
20.
Ari is 35 feet away from you.
I hate that. I guess I'll just go as close as I can get.
Okay, alright.
Well, I guess at this point... Gris doesn't have a lot of options. How far away is she from the Stone King?
She's about 10 feet from the Stone King.
Okay, I think Gris will attempt to cast Entangle.
Okay, alright. If Entangle lands, that causes...
Weeds and vines to sprout from the ground in a 20-foot radius, and will restrain
Perfect.
whoever it
Go for
captures.
it. Let's have you roll a d20, please.
Okay, come on, baby. Don't let me down. 13?
It does not land. Leon, it
Oh.
is your turn.
Okay, question.
Answer.
Bonus actions for sorcerers. Can I potentially cast a spell and then a cantrip? Or is that not allowed?
You can cast a spell and then a cantrip.
Less up. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna cast Magic Missile again. Because I'm nothing if not persistent.
Alright, roll a d20.
That one's a 17.
That
Please
lands, but just barely. Alright,
Ooh,
let's have you
let's
roll
go.
for damage here.
Okay. Literally only did 2 damage. I hate myself.
I
All
need our
right.
luck tonight. Our team is nothing right now.
Wait. I am
could
going
use
to
some help.
also do a bonus action. If I had a healing spell, I'd help you, but
I'm making my way over there. I'll be fine.
I don't. So, as my bonus action, I'm going to cast Poison Spray, which is a cantrip that I have.
I'm so sorry. He is immune to poison. It does absolutely nothing. I'm not even gonna have you roll for
mean-
that. Alright, next is Ari.
All right, so remind me where we're all at on this in this cavernous crypt.
You are 10 feet away from the Stone King. I'm sorry, 15 feet away from the Stone King. No, 10 feet away from the Stone King, 10 feet away
Okay.
from Gris. About, at this point, 20 feet away from Leon. You're all sort of
Okay.
making diagonal lines at each other. I would
Okay.
draw it out, but unfortunately,
No, you're fine.
our battle screen's kind of messed up.
No, you're absolutely fine. Okay. All right. Which I'm thinking, Leon, and it doesn't come easily to me.
Intelligence dump stat squad.
All right. I am nothing if not reckless, so I go back in with my sword.
All right. Roll with disadvantage.
19 plus 5, 24, and 12 plus 5, 17.
That lands. Let's have you roll for damage.
2 plus 3, 5.
You know, every hit matters. Would
Yeah.
you like to use a bonus action to move away?
Yeah, I'm just gonna use my movement to zoom over to Gris, please.
All right, sweet. You zoom 10 feet over to Gris, and that ends your turn. The Stone King is now going to turn his attention to Leon. He lumbers towards
How
you.
did I know that was coming?
And
Okay.
he uses... Oh god, I'm so sorry.
Panic and stress.
He is
Please
going
don't
to
kill my sweet
use...
baby.
Can you make a wisdom saving throw, please?
Make your face.
16 plus 2, 18.
It works! He is unable to attack you. He then uses his bonus action to turn
Wow.
around and stare at Gris at Ari, and his turn is over. Gris,
Wow.
it is your turn.
He's really quite unsettling, isn't he, Ari?
I'm more than a little unsettled. I don't think unsettled is the word for it.
Anyways, how are you feeling? You know what? Here, let me help you. So Gris casts Cure Wounds on Ariadne.
Okay.
All right.
How much does that give me back?
I'm sorry, I'm looking for it. I believe you have to.
I
like,
have to
roll
roll a d8, I think.
It's a D8,
Okay.
D8 plus 2.
Yeah. Here we go. 10!
All right, hell yeah. Ari, you've recovered 10 of your HP.
Nice.
Do you think you're fully recovered?
It's fully recovered.
Gris came
Hell
so in
yeah.
clutch. Gris came
Yeah,
so in clutch.
Mushroom dance!
Let's go.
I grab her forearm and just like, thank you.
And Gris is quite pleased with herself on this one and like kind of puts an arm around her friend just in support.
Because at that point I was probably like, I was not putting an insignificant amount of my weight on her, so Chris was throwing.
Gris is tiny bean. So after casting that, turns her eyes to the Stone King, who, by the way, do we know how much HP this man has?
He has 21 HP left.
Okay, all right. I'm just writing that
Left?
down for no reason. All right. So Gris is recognizing that he's staring him down, realizing that maybe something's gonna happen. So I think Gris is gonna go in to hit him with her staff, which has been transmuted with Chalet. So it gets a +4. And I use my spell casting.
You used your spell slot to cure wounds.
I've used my spell slot to entangle and cure wounds, but I have one more slot.
You can only cast one spell per turn. You can only do one
I'm not
action per
casting a
turn.
spell because Chalet it's already.
Oh, okay. I forgot
that was
you
my
did
bonus
Chalet.
action.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm just gonna try and whack this man's.
Are you close?
All right.
enough, though?
You're going
Real
to need
question?
to.
I haven't moved.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're
he's about
close.
10 feet away. You would need to move forward.
I'll move forward 10 feet.
All right, so you are going to do Chalet. Can you roll a d20 with disadvantage, please?
Yes. So I rolled twice and picked the lowest.
Yes.
All right. So I have 10 + 4, 14, and then 8 + 4, 12.
The 14 is low enough for it not to hit anyways, so you miss. Would you like to move backwards?
Yes, I would like to move as far back as I possibly can.
All right, you move 15 feet away from him, and your turn ends. Leon, let's see what that magic you were talking about is good for here.
What that magic do?
Okay, so, Ari and Gris are how many feet away from me?
15.
And I'm right beside him, right?
No, he moved towards them about 5 feet. So you are, I believe, 5 feet from him.
Okay. So I'm going to, so I have 30 feet of movement per turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if I went to move between them and him,
You can move
Would
all around
need-
the map all you want as long as you don't move over 30 feet in a turn.
okay. And the distance between me, like, let's say, so Gris and Ari are 15 feet away and he's about 5 feet away from me, you said?
Yes. And the 10 feet
So-
between, so he's between you and your friends.
Okay, so if I went to stand in between them and face him, it would be 10 feet, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to face him.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast Burning Hands in the direction of him. So the cone doesn't hit them because they're behind me.
All right, go for it. Can you roll a d20, please, with,
This
Yeah,
hits no
just-
matter what.
Okay.
So each creature in a 15-foot cone must make a dex saving throw. A creature takes 3d6 on a failed save or half as much on a successful one.
All right, do you know what what the DC is?
Would it be my save DC?
Yes.
Yes, I can. If it's the one that says save DC.
Yes.
then do I add my modifier to that?
No. What's yeah, add your modifier for
Spell attack.
yes.
Then it's 18.
Oh god, okay. Okay, 11 minus 1. Okay, so he rolls a 10. Okay, how many damage does he take? You need to roll for it.
It's gonna take 3d6.
So I will roll 3d6. Do I even own 3d6?
I got it. It's 8. They were bad rolls.
Okay, you know what? That brings him down to
That's okay.
13 HP. He's now almost on par with you all. Let's have Ari back to full
I'm gonna
health.
move out of the way, though. I don't
Yep.
want to be in between them, though. I'm gonna yeet myself like 20 feet in one direction. I don't want to be anywhere near him.
That's so fair. Cool. How far is he away from me?
He's what did I say? 10 feet away.
Yeah, that the last I heard, but I just wanted to make
10
sure.
feet. He hasn't moved.
Cool. Then I, having been healed by Gris, I turn my back to her. I look over my shoulder and I just give a big grin, and then I grab my sword from the floor next to her, and I charge.
All right, let's get D20 with disadvantage, please.
Okay, that's 12 plus 5, 17. 13 plus 5, 18. So 17.
Is your lowest roll?
Yeah.
All right, it lands. Let's have you roll for damage.
Okay. That's 5 plus 3, 8.
I'm sorry.
All right, Ari, is that the end of your turn? Would you like to move?
I would, yes, I would like to move. How far away is Leo?
She is at this point 5 feet behind you.
Ah, cool. Then no, then I'm gonna move back 5 feet right next to her. That's all I'm gonna do.
You're gonna stand right next to Leon. Awesome. So he is going to multi-attack you both with a slam attack. What are your armor classes? It literally
13?
does not matter. I rolled a 21 and a
All right,
27 for
then.
that. I'm
Oh my
going
God.
to Leon, how many HP do you have?
14.
You both take 9 damage.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh my god.
All right.
Not feeling great. Feeling bad. Feeling pretty bad, man.
All right. The damage that you take, by the way, oh, it doesn't matter for your classes. You're fine. All right. Gris.
Hi. I think Gris is gonna try another time to cast her cantrip Frostbite.
All right, go for it.
D20, or I need a.
You need to roll a d20.
My god.
Hello.
Hello.
18.
That lands. Roll for damage, please.
Nice.
Yeah. It is 3.
All right. Leon, let's see if you can finish him off.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm gonna cast Firebolt. It's a cantrip.
All right.
So I roll a d20 then?
Yes, you
See if
do.
it hits.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I add anything to that d20?
That is going to be your wisdom modifier.
My wisdom modifier. So that's 13 plus 2, 15.
I am so sorry.
No,
but
would it
that
be my
does...
charisma because I'm a sorceress?
Yes. Sorry, I keep thinking you're.
Then it was 13 plus 3, 16.
It still does absolutely nothing. Ari,
Yeah,
it
I
is
figured
your turn.
Yeah. Oh, Leon wants
Alright.
to move as far away as fucking possible, for the record.
She
She's
absolutely
gone.
can.
She yeeted herself as far away as fucking possible. She's like, bitch, I have 5 health. No. She's gone. Goodbye.
Fair.
Like, sorry, Ari, I have no health. Oh my god, goodbye.
That's a good idea. Cool. He really did that.
Done do that.
Done did that. So I do a little twirl with my sword and I stab him again.
All right, 2d20s, disadvantage, please.
Okay. Damn. 8. Got
That
an 8 and an 18.
does nothing. Ari,
Yeah.
he is enraged that you had the audacity to try to hit him again.
Yeah.
This time he's going to multi-attack you and Gris.
Ooh, okay.
Ari, what is your armor class? I keep forgetting.
15.
I'm so sorry. That's a 27 and a 20. Both of you are going to take...
Oh my god.
Actually, Gris, you're going to take 9 damage. Ari, how many hit points do you have left?
8.
You are going to take 7 damage.
Alright.
Oh my god.
That hurty.
With my 1 hit point, can I run away?
Yes, you can have a reaction.
God, I'm gonna die.
I didn't have to move to attack him, right? I didn't end up having to do that.
No, your reaction can just be sprinting. If
Yeah,
you...
cool. I dash, I sprint away. I have however much is left of my 45 feet of movement in this cavernous crypt.
So you run 40 feet away from him.
I run 40 feet away from him.
Okay. The statue takes a moment to acknowledge the fact that you are a little bitch, and it is now Chris's turn.
How far away am I from the Stone King at the moment? Am I still just like 10, 15?
You're 10 feet away from him.
Yo, that's spicy! Okay.
That is spicy.
And he's got 3 HP left, yeah?
He has got 2 HP left.
Yo, that's even spicier.
Christ.
Okay, so Gris wants to do something a little fucking weird. I don't know if this is a thing, but I want to try it. I think it's a thing based on what I'm reading. So evidently, I can cast Bonfire as like a damaging spell, and this feels just dumb enough that Gris would do it. So I would like to cast Bonfire on the Stone King.
Okay,
Do you know the melting point of stone?
I am gonna have you roll a d20 just to see if it lands.
Please land. This would be so funny. Please land.
Oh my god.
15?
No.
No.
Did
Did you add your wisdom modifier?
I add my what?
Wisdom modifier.
Oh, no, I didn't. 17.
All right. A bonfire erupts magically. Wood included. You know, all it's missing is some drunk high schoolers on a beach somewhere. Underneath the Stone King's feet. Can we have you roll for damage, please, there, Gris?
Heck yeah, I can.
God.
Oh my god.
Damage is a 4. Mans is dead.
Oh my
Gris, how many feet of movement do you have left?
I haven't moved at all. I'm just standing in the same spot. My range is 60 feet for bonfire. I can move 25. I'm good.
So the Stone King begins to crumble to large pieces, some falling in your direction. Can you roll a dexterity saving throw, please?
Can I? Yes. Am I nervous? Also, yes. Okay, 13 plus 2, 15.
You manage to dodge the falling pieces, and you are all left standing among literal rubble in this empty hall. As you stand there, you hear what sounds like a giant boulder being rolled across gravel, and the wall in front of you opens up. As the wall opens up, a gravelly voice says in Sylvan, with one of you being able to understand every word, and one of you only being able to understand some of the words, "Where hell opens, you meet your fate." The walls open to reveal what appears to be the very spot that you entered this labyrinth of hallways from, which strikes you all as very odd because you could have sworn you did nothing but descend.
Oh. Leon's gonna look at Gris and be like, what did that just say?
What makes you think I know what that just said? But I do know what it just said. And it was weird.
It sounded like that old lady.
Yeah,
That's why. Excuse me,
yes,
Gris. Also,
yeah.
was that a bonfire?
It was also.
I don't want to talk about it.
No,
I'm just
you
trying
should.
to-
I have a lot of
Chris, you
respect for it. I love a good fire
Okay, but
spell,
you-
Gris. Don't get me wrong. Listen, I literally just cast like 3, okay? I respect it. Whole lot of
keep trying
respect.
to-
Okay, but you're tiny. You could have just healed me.
Leon puts her hands to her mouth and goes, sorry. Then she switches to message. You feeling okay?
Gris is just like,
No, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Leon in my head voice.
Leon sends another message. This is the first time I've sent you one of these. I send them to Galen.
No,
all
you
the
sent
time.
you sent me one while you were tied up, but I was very confused about it.
Gris is like very confused by the silence that she assumes is happening. It's like, do you guys want to know what it said? Do you still want to know?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
of course.
Yes, Gris,
Because
absolutely.
it's a little weird. Where hell
Okay.
opens, you meet your fate. Also, I would just like to comment on the fact that looks like the exit, and also earlier I commented on the fact that we keep going down and we need to go up. So I'm a little confused, but also reminder, Galen is on the floor.
Yeah, like the helpful asshole he was.
Did you say it says where hell opens, you meet your fate?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's
strange.
it's crypt. It's been booby trapped. Is this really not par for the
Yeah.
course?
There's some sort of funky magic going on here. Ari, do you think you have the strength to carry Galen? I don't.
Not
I'm a
right
bit
now.
worried
I
about
don't.
We
I
should
can
check
heal
on
you. I
him.
have-
And
I
Leon
have
walks
two.
over to Galen. Like, Leon walks over to Galen and is immediately looking at him because she's realizing now at this point that, like, he's not feeling or looking great.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
need
like to roll a perception check?
Yeah. How much of a perception? Like, do I need to do a perception check?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's 19 plus 2, 21.
All right, congratulations. So you kneel over Galen's body. He appears to be entirely unconscious. There is a large, like, red purple bruise already kind of spreading across his face. And there is blood trickling from his nose and mouth. You kind of shake him a little bit, and he groans, but does not awaken.
Okay.
He seems
as-
stable enough to carry.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to need attention outside of what is available in a tomb in the woods.
Cool. As she's doing
so he's
that,
stable enough to carry, but we have to get him help.
yeah. As she's doing that, I just gingerly place my sword down and just starfish on the floor, non-verbally reminding the others that I'm currently worse off than he is.
Gris kind of
Galen,
looks-
actually
Just be like, the
currently
room is spinning.
has 0 health points. He has 2 temporary health points.
Okay, I was just going, off the D&D Beyond.
Leon looks to Gris and says, can you cast any more healing spells?
Yes, I can probably heal one more person one more time, but I think
What
Galen
about
gonna need
those
way more.
berries? Don't the
I do
berries
have-
help?
I have the berries, but they don't do a ton of. They only increase you by,
I think you should. Well, I'm trying to figure out, like,
I would rather cure wounds than cast good berry. Cure wounds is going to be more effective.
that's fair. Okay. And
And
Ari, can you carry?
Yeah, probably.
Do you think you can carry Galen? We need to find someone that can help.
Yeah, I
Then we
really
need to
hope
find
we
out what's
don't have
going
to
on with that.
climb back up all those stairs.
Oh, that's the
Okay,
entrance.
wait, here's another option. Sorry, out of character. Good berry, I can cast good berry and get 10 berries, and each berry is a hit point. So if we need to do a little bit of saving of HP on Galen after his...
So I would say just thinking out loud here, hypothetically, if I were you, I would heal a member of your party with the physical strength to carry another member of your party, and maybe head somewhere that would have the resources to care for him. Maybe someone in your party is familiar with areas around the woods and could find a city with a competent...
I just wanted to make sure that if I didn't do anything to Galen, he's not gonna he's die.
He has 2 temporary hit points. He will be fine.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna Gris, noting that Ari is clearly not in a state to carry Galen. Leon would never carry Galen except for that one time when you did carry Galen, and that was wild.
I did.
So Gris walks over to Ari in their starfish pose on the floor and places a hand on her friend and casts her last spell for now, Cure Wounds.
As Gris is doing that, now that she's checked out, now that Leon has checked out Galen and knows that Ari's gonna go and grab him, Leon wants to go and grab that crown.
All right. Leon, you approach the rubble of the body of the king. And as you approach, your eyes once again land on this 5-pointed crown. It feels like it's calling to you, like the room did earlier, and almost sort of overtakes whatever kind of thought process you would have had about tactics for grabbing something that clearly triggered so many problems earlier. You pick it up without any problems, and it is warm to the touch, as if within it is on fire.
Should I roll to see how many hit points Ari gets?
Yes.
Warm with
Leon's
the
gonna
fires
put that
in hell.
crown in her pocket.
It will not fit
in my pocket, I mean bag.
In a pocket. Okay, bag. Perfect. I was like, no.
Yeah, I meant bag. Leon's got her bag. It's got the little dagger, the stab. Tried to kill you, and now it's also got the crown.
All right, perfect.
It's a spiky bag.
How many hit points do you give Ari?
8, sorry.
Nice.
All right, so...
All right.
Do you pick up Galen?
Yeah, I make my way up, and I'm like, fine. Give me a second, and then I stumble up and get my stuff and dust myself off, and I go, and I'm like, and pick him up.
All right, Ari, just a heads up, your speed is going to be decreased by 6 feet while you are carrying him.
So
hanging out with me today, Ari.
Give me a sec. Awesome. Do you need me to roll for that or anything, or just carry him?
No. So, do you exit through this kind of hole in the wall that's appeared?
I just stand and wait for direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, Leon leads the way. Once Leon looks back, she sees that Ari has picked up Galen, and she starts walking towards the door. She's about ready to leave. She's ready to get out of there. She don't like it. Vibes are bad. Bad vibes.
All right.
All right, does everyone follow?
Gris goes and tries to run after Leon because she's kind of curious about the sword. The crown, sorry.
Goodness. I did not notice the crown at all, so I do not care, and I just start walking and muttering under my breath, just like, you could have at least helped. Could have just gotten up, you fucking asshole. You wouldn't even have to fight him if you didn't fucking try to pickpocket the fucking crown.
And Gris, as she's running to kind of catch up to Leon, says, "Shouldn't we just throw him in a lake?" And keeps running.
Hi, Gris. Leon's continuing to walk, and she just kind of glances back and is like, "I don't think that's gonna help this time, Gris."
Yeah, he might.
I don't think that's gonna help this time.
I don't know that.
We gotta get him to an inn. We gotta get him to an inn. Leon turns back and how far away is Ari?
Ari, your normal movement speed is 35?
45, so I'm at 39.
Ari is right next to you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not doing good, I'm just upset about it. I'm doing fine,
Leon
I just don't like it.
You're like, I don't want to carry him, but I'll do it. Leon looks to Ari and says, okay, we need to find an inn. Where do you think is the closest? You know this area. So... Where should we go?
Yeah.
Ari,
do I remember? I'm just like,
you know that the nearest city that is friendly towards, or more friendly towards non-locals and potentially non-humans, though that's always kind of a little risky in this part of the world, is Malay, which is
okay.
not a far walk at all.
Okay. I think it's a little risky, but I think we can make it. It's the closest they'll take us. I can show you.
Okay. Right. Yeah, then lead the way. We need to get Galen help.
Yeah, he definitely
For all
needs
his
to be somebody.
poor decisions earlier, we need to help him. He needs help.
Sure.
If he
He's
would
one
just
of us.
stop trying to take things that don't belong to him.
Right, Grace? Honestly, though, if he wanted to take it, I just want communication.
A heads up
for
would have
the
been
attempt.
nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
I
a
was
little,
right
like,
next to him. At
hey.
least be like, yo, I'm about to
This is
take
where my
this.
head's
Something
at.
might happen.
I mean,
Things
like,
have been booby trapped in this trip before.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if he had simply communicated.
It's just like the laying on the rocks thing. Like,
But
yes, that's what the prophecy says, but give us a minute.
Can I have him as I'm holding him up and we're
Access.
walking and having this conversation and venting about Galen's poor decisions? And I go and just go, can I grab his chin and go, I'm Galen. I think nothing's gonna happen because there are no consequences.
All right, so you pull down on Galen's chin, and his eyes flutter open for the briefest of seconds, and he manages a quiet, "Go fuck yourself," and then promptly goes back unconscious.
Leon goes,
Yeah.
well, if he can curse, then he's still alive. We have time to get him where we need to go.
I just go, yeah, sure thing, buddy.
So
Sure thing.
as you pass through the forest, you sort of get the sensation that the sea of trees has almost taken on a darker, more dangerous feel since you took the crown.
Yeah.
You can feel eyes on you, and these eyes are, before they were unfriendly, now they are downright insidious. Ari sort of leads the way, occasionally stumbling, carrying Galen. I would assume that one or both of you would occasionally try to help, but manages to take you to the city of Malay. This is a walled city, and by the time you arrive, it is quite late at night, maybe 1 or 2 a.m. The wall has a gate in it, but this gate is closed, and it is made quite clear to you by an incredibly unfriendly guard that the gate will not open until morning.
And Leon, I mean, like, I assume there's no inn outside of the gate.
Maybe you should ask the guard.
Okay. Leon walks up to the guard and says, hello there, good sir. My party and I are incredibly in need of a good sleep. And she's like patting her eyelashes. She is outing her lips. She's
Layering it on thick.
laying it on. She goes, sir, we are in desperate need of some help. Can you point us to the local safest inn, or perhaps allow us in for a brief moment? I could pay for the advice.
The man seems very uninterested in Leon in general, neither her lips, nor her eyes, nor her money, but does seem very interested in Galen and says, well, he looks like he needs some help.
Do you know anyone that could help him?
He pauses for a minute, sort of pondering the party, and his eyes focus on Gris for an unreasonably long amount of time, and he sort of awkwardly clears his throat, and he goes, well, I mean, you could always check the Wildflower. Weird broad who runs it always seems to know more than she ought to about most things.
Is the Wildflower an inn?
He looks at you for a very long time, and he goes, well, it's not a castle, that's for damn sure, and sort of jabs his finger in the direction of what appears to be a building some 400, 500 yards away.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you, sir. And Leo just turns and is like, let's go.
And Chris is like, he kind of stared at me me a little longer than I would have liked, but the wildflower sounds incredibly lovely. And starts kind of
Leon's like in a little huff that like her flirting didn't work. She's like, yeah, he was rude. Unnecessarily so, honestly.
And Chris just kind of taps Leon's elbow like, woman to woman, flirting doesn't always get you where you need to, honey.
No, he was rude. He was very rude.
And Chris kind of like side eyes Ariadne like,
very much.
where's this coming from?
I appreciate it. Okay. We should go. We really should go. We really
Yes,
need to get
please.
him some help.
Galen,
Okay, so we had
once again sort of stirs and mutters, "No, he's right. He was a fucker." And then once again goes limp and unconscious. You arrive at the Wildflower Inn. It's a quaint little building made of cobblestone and wood. It's got this hand-painted sign, which is decorated with simple images of wildflowers, which makes perfect sense, really. Golden light glows from within its windows, and a few horses are tied up out front, being brushed by a wide-eyed boy, maybe 13 years old, who stares at you as you pass, though not in an unfriendly manner. Do you enter the inn?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. You push open the door to the inn to find that the front room, like most, serves as a tavern. There's a human bard in the corner singing a tune to a maiden by the name of Mel, pausing every few moments to take a sip from a conveniently located tankard of ale.
Mm-hmm.
A few patrons linger by the fire, but most seem to have headed home or to the rented room upstairs for the night. They don't even so much as cast you a glance as you enter, which is probably for the best, despite your ragged state.
Can Leon... Is there anyone at the front desk?
The bar is tended by a young woman. Would you like to approach her?
Yeah.
All right.
Leon's gonna approach her.
So this woman is presumably the innkeeper, and she seems totally engrossed by a book, which she has open in front of her. She snaps it shut as you approach, looking sheepish, and you kind of get a good look at her in this moment. She looks to be in her early 20s. She has a kind and pretty face, and long, sort of auburn brown hair, which she wears in loose, long waves. She eyes the party anxiously as you approach, but her expression softens as she notices Gris, and she greets you with a genuine smile. "Welcome to the Wildflower, travelers."
Thank you.
Leon says, "Hi there.
As you start to
Thank you
speak,
for the warm welcome."
she notices Ari, who is carrying Galen, and sort of hops over the counter, her eyebrows pressed together with concern. And
Leon goes, exactly. That's what I was just getting to.
Excuse me, and she sort of makes eye contact with Ari. Would you, and she sort of gestures to the bench of a table as if she wants you to lie him down.
Yes, thank you. We'll just scurry over there.
She follows you.
I plop him down and I sit gently. I sit gently down.
She smiles at you gratefully and then leans over Galen, gently pressing a finger to his temple. At the pressure, he stirs just a little bit, and she breathes a sigh of relief. "Thanks, Sylvanas. Keep him here. I'll be right back." And she stands.
Thank you.
Sort of very quickly.
What is your name?
And she seems to notice the rest of the party's state, and her eyes get a little wide, and she's like, just a moment. And as she runs by, she manages to catch Leon's question, and over her shoulder she goes, "My name is Lily Audrey." And then she continues through a door and sort of yells over her shoulder, "But my friends call me Lily."
Hey,
That's
thank
such a cute
you,
name.
Lily.
Lily?
Gris just loves that name. Gris, loving anything floral, anything herbal. It's just like, that's such a nice name. She seems sweet, don't you think? But glad
Very.
this one's awake and
Galen's
kind of
gonna like
pokes
walk
Galen.
over and like look over Galen's head. She's just like looking at Galen's head, and then she looks to Ari and she's like, that stone hit him. It hit him. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah?
I thought the hit that he hit on us was pretty bad. That's
Well, you did try to steal his crown.
We were supposed to
Yep.
take it, right, though? I mean, it did say
I
to
took it. I've got the crown. I got the
But
crown. I got
what
the
did-
crown, guys. Don't
You
worry.
got the crown. We'll. It's fine.
And it's good. We're good. I'm keeping the crown safe. It's gonna be listen. If we even okay, is it maybe I don't know. It feels like it's important. Maybe it's not. Probably is. We had to fight a big, like 7-foot tall marble dude to get it. Even if it's
Stone,
got no
technically.
use other than like a cool looking crown on my head, but take
would
it.
wear
You know what I
that?
mean?
You're gonna wear that?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like peak fashion, but
Oh, God forbid it not be peak fashion.
As you
very
all
important.
debate the fashion merits of the crown that you've retrieved at no small cost to your party, Lily reappears, balancing in one hand a bowl of what appears to be warm water steeped with some kind of herb, a cup of tea in the other hand, and then slung over each arm 2 cloths, one soaked in cold water and one dry. She sets all of these items sort of on the table and lays the cold washcloth over Galen's head, and then takes the tea. And Gris, she holds up the tea, and you can smell like peppermint and spearmint and lemon balm, and it reminds you of the winter's cold, despite the steam that emanates from the top. She looks over to Leon. You were the person closest to Galen's head, I believe.
Yes.
She looks over to Leon and says, Would you sort of help him up, sort of prop him up? He needs to drink this. It will stop the swelling."
Yeah. Leon like looks at Ari and is like, "You want to like double team
Yeah.
this? You want to do this together?" You wanna, like... So
Sure,
Leon
sure.
grabs one of his shoulders because
Yeah.
Ari's
I'm
on the
also
other
sitting.
side of the
Yeah,
table.
I'm just sitting next to
right?
him. So
You
Yeah.
really only need
Yeah, so
like a little bit of an angle here. Though if you're making a big
Right, then
deal
Leon's
over the
just
fact
gonna
that you're
do it.
not very
Yeah.
strong.
Nah,
that's fine.
Leon's just gonna do it then.
Does Gris
I was thinking I was
notice
gonna have to like lug his ass up, like
Does Gris notice
drinks
anything
my dump stat.
odd about the cup other than it just has a familiar smell and reminds her of
Would you
something
like to
cold?
roll a quick medicine check?
I would love to. 11.
You actually recognize this drink as worshippers of Sylvanas. It's actually quite often used by wood elves to treat any sort of injury caused by like falling or, hitting yourself on something. It does, as you know, prevent swelling. It's not super common in halfling communities, but you definitely have smelled it before.
Okay.
So Lily, smiling at Leon a little bit, sort of gently tips the tea against Galen's lips, and he sort of wakes up a little bit and groans, sort of in protest. At which point Lily goes, "He can't
Leon?
fall
Oh.
asleep without drinking this," to Leon.
okay.
Leon kind of like she's holding him with one hand and she just kind of like pokes his shoulder and is like, "Yeah, you're gonna need to stay awake. I'll get all up in your head if you don't stay awake.
Yeah.
I don't think you want that in the situation that you're in right now. I'm gonna speak, but you know that I can speak to you without actually speaking, so stay awake or else."
Gris kind of laughs and smiles at this.
Yeah, she's
glad
chuckling.
to hear a little bit of something out of Galen, especially if it's protest, because that means Galen at least somewhat okay.
Galen's like himself.
Galen manages to drink the entirety of the cup that Lily is holding, and then immediately leans back and slips out of consciousness.
Did what I said.
I poke him really hard from sitting next to him. Just like a jab.
He does not move.
Oh.
But Lily turns her attention to the rest of the party. Starting with Ari. She takes the dry cloth that she brought and dips it into the sort of herb water brew that she brought along with the tea, and approaches you sort of slowly and gently, as one might approach a timid cat, or a timid cat might approach someone, and says, "Please, allow me to tend to your wounds."
Sure. Thank you.
Leon is trying so hard not to laugh. She's just like witnessing Ari like, yeah, that's cool.
And
that's a great
I
idea.
am
Sick, wonderful.
I
Leon's
am
like,
very still, very frozen, like very still, just very tense, like contracted still.
So
Leon tries to make eye contact with Gris.
Gris is like kind of keeping a keen eye on Lily, just because, you know, as a fellow healer, making sure everything is up to par, and notices this interaction and just kind of like smiles the knowing
And I'm just
smile.
staring at Lily.
And then kind of flits over and makes eye contact with Leon, and just kind of like, that'll do it.
So
we know.
Lily is sort of dabbing gently at your wounds. You've got quite a few of them after being slammed repeatedly in the face by a statue. And she sort of she takes a moment to look at you, and her eyebrows are furrowed in concentration, but she goes, "So, are you an adventurer?"
No, I'm a monk.
Yes, we are. Leon chimes in. Yes, we are. We are. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep, we are. And that's it. She's just like, she doesn't move. She's just like, yep.
Lily looks over at Leon and smiles, and she goes, "Oh, I've always wanted to be an adventurer." She turns her attention back to Ari and sort of like holds your face sort of above your eye to dab at a cut above your eyebrow, and says, "I've always kind of wanted to travel the world, you know, but after my parents were died, I had to take care of the inn. I never really got the chance. I don't think I'll ever get the chance." And then she jabs her thumb in the direction of the wall behind her, and the wall across from the fire, and goes, "That's why we keep that here, you know? It's the closest I'll ever get. I like to imagine what all those places are like." And she gets this sort of dreamy, far-off look in her eyes, and says, "I'd like to know what the ocean smells like." And then she realizes that she's rambling and is like, "I'm so sorry. What was your name?"
I'm Ari.
She smiles and
Staring.
blushes a little bit and brushes her hair behind her ear, revealing the pointed tip of an ear. She seems to notice her mistake and immediately rearranges her hair and says, "Well, it's very nice to meet you," and sort of gets real quiet and turns to Leon.
Can I mirror her and go, "It's very nice to meet you too"?
Yes, you can. I'm sorry, that was very cute. Lily smiles at you incredibly shyly, sort of through lowered lashes, and then sort of rests her finger on your cheek a little bit longer than is necessary for cleaning your wounds, and then turns.
Leon is literally trying not to clap. She's like overjoyed. This is like her sweet dreams. Like she's like, I love watching people flirt. This is just like
She turns to Leon, And the blush in her cheeks is much brighter than before. Clearly flustered that anyone else saw that interaction, and says, I can help you next. I can help you next.
Absolutely. Definitely.
She cleans your face, but with less of the attention to detail than she did for Ari, before turning to Gris and doing the same thing. And she sort of awkwardly, still blushing, says, I'll bring you some food. My brother will prepare your rooms. And at this point, you notice the young boy who was outside is sort of standing by the fire, staring at you all.
So is she still cleaning Gris up, I
Yes.
imagine?
Yes.
Okay, so Gris kind of like gently like grabs her like wrist as she kind of goes to clean and kind of looks her in the eye, having heard that like little slip of the tongue earlier, and says, you know, healing is a very great path to take, but a healer can also take an adventure. As a fellow healer who's kind of going on an adventure. And then she kind of like looks over to Ari and looks back to Lily and just kind of smiles grandly, and just and just said, adventures are always a good way to learn new things and meet new people. And then just
Leon
kind of
hear this?
Yeah, absolutely. You're sitting by them, right?
Yeah, we're
Leon's gonna say, I mean, like, you could also just take a trip to a big city.
And Gris
Some of them are port cities.
Gris just kind of scoffs and is like, there's more herbs in the forest. Take the path less traveled.
You would say that, Gris.
Yeah, I would, Leon, because I like mushrooms and herbs, honey.
Lily?
also cities are loud. There's a lot to see.
If you were to travel, Ariadne, where would you go?
I don't know.
What about you, Lily? What would be the first place you'd like to visit? The ocean, I know you said.
Lily sort of turns her attention back to the wall that she'd pointed at earlier. Let's see. Oh, it didn't work. All right. Well, I like the way that that's not working. And she takes a moment to show the adventurers a map of the world that she has sort of tacked to the wall. It looks almost as if every visitor to the inn, and it seems that there have been many, has taken the time to sort of note where they're from. There's all kinds of information on it. Let me see if I can get a version of it pulled up here. And she sort of takes a moment to look at it, and she goes, well, I've always thought the knives would be interesting. I've always thought I could crave a little bit of danger, but, you know, never the opportunity. And she sort of steps away and looks you all over, and she goes, I'll get you something to eat.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much. Leon is standing, because Leon hasn't
thanks.
actually sat down at any point. So Leon is standing. What I'm envisioning is like Ari's on one side of the table, Galen is on the table, Leon is standing in between the table and the map on the wall.
Yes.
Yes. So Leon kind of like looks up the map and is like, what could that riddle have meant? And she's like,
What
she's
riddle?
talking out loud. The one that as the door opened, it was, what was it? Where hell opens, you meet your fate?
Gris nods. Yep, where hell opens, you meet your fate. I just assumed it meant when the walls crumbled and we kind of walked out. But, you know, could mean anything.
That sounds like you die.
Well, I feel like... Well, what do we think of when we think of hell?
I don't think it would.
Brainstorm here,
I don't know
people.
that
What do we
it's a
think of when we
riddle.
think of hell?
Maybe it's just a welcome mat.
No, I'm not buying that this time. What do we think of when we think of hell?
Hot.
Hot.
Hot. Fiery.
Fire.
bonfirey, if you will.
Leon is like, I can't believe that you literally killed them with a bonfire.
I had to check
I
something.
gotta
Can
just
I-
say, like,
I-
once again, bring it back real quick. Just wanted to really bring it back real quick.
Mhm.
I'm a fire user.
You are?
Love it.
Listen,
Love
frost.
it.
All right, but
frostbite wasn't working. Bonfire seemed like the next logical step.
Honestly, loved it. Great
I'm just
work.
looking between them both and going just like, you do realize I landed most of those hits.
Aha! But who?
A bonfire,
twice?
a bonfire would
twice.
not have killed him.
But
if
I
didn't do
healed
the
you twice.
stabby stabby.
2 times. Healed you twice.
Leon like gently like places her hands down and she's like, "You did great, Ari. You did
Also-
so good. You nailed it. You did so good. We did so well."
And Gris just laughed.
Please, Galen. I mean, like, he's okay.
Thank you.
At this point,
So
Lily
Leon looks back at, yeah.
reappears. And she's holding bowls of mushroom soup, or something that smells like mushroom soup. It's got some kind of herbs in it too. Gris could probably tell you what they are, but you can all smell them. They're very aromatic. And she's sort of she's balancing 3 bowls, and the boy appears and takes one of them and sets it in front of Gris, sort of glancing away from her shyly. And Lily sets a bowl down in front of Ari and one in front of Leon, and she goes, "I'm so sorry. I hope I wasn't interrupting. I couldn't help you hear
Not
you
at
talking
all.
about the volcano.
The
You
what?
know,
Volcano.
you know." And she's like,
Hit
"Oh,
Leon.
I'm so sorry. I heard something about, you know, hell's opening, hell's portal. Isn't that the volcano?" And she sort of like points at the map, but isn't even looking. It's almost as if she spent so long studying it that she could tell you where anything was.
Gris is like digging into this soup and like, thyme, sage, mushroom. No, not a volcano, a bonfire, and just slurping her soup.
Leon, I'm dead. Leon's straight up ignoring Gris.
Yeah.
Leon is like, no, not right now. Because Leon's had this moment where she's like, oh my god, you're right. Fire, heat, warmth, the opening of hell. It's gotta be the knives. She looks at Ari and she's like, it's gotta be the knives.
What's
Right? That's what the riddle's alluding to. It's got to be the knives.
what do you expect to be in the knives?
I don't know. We're looking for the next clue. You took us to this place. We found a crown and then it said, where hell opens, you meet your fate. And I feel like
Okay,
we should probably
okay, but see the thing, Leon, is generally when you solve a riddle, you want us to go there, and I don't
yes.
know how good an idea eating ourselves into a volcano is.
I'm not saying we go into the volcano. I'm saying we visit the volcano and see what's there.
On an island? A volcano on an island when we just came out of a stone
Knives.
tomb?
You're
The
going to the knives. Yep. Where else would it make sense? Any other volcanoes you guys know of? Leon gestures wildly to the map. Do you see another one?
And Gris kind of looks and then she spots Aquara and she's like, isn't that where this one's from? And points to Galen's limp body.
Oh.
Yeah, but didn't he say
Yeah,
didn't
you're
want
right.
to go there?
Should we? He's not gonna like it if we make a decision to go there while he's passed out.
Lily,
I don't
who-
particularly care what Galen thinks.
Lily, who's been watching this whole interaction with clear amusement, suddenly realizes that she's been eavesdropping and blushes bright red and goes, "Well, I'll come get you when your rooms are ready." And she smiles at Ari in particular. It's quite noted. And then she returns to her book, which she is clearly enthralled by.
Gris kind of, looks up from her bowl of soup and notices Ari.
And in and notices Ari look down at her bowl of soup and start shoveling it in their mouth.
Leon casts message. Ari gets a message in their head. Ari, I swear to God, if you don't go over and talk to that girl about her book, I will fight the rest of your health out of you.
And Gris,
Fire.
having not heard this, looks at Ari and says, "She's reading a book, you know."
I start in response to Leon. I start humming in my head whatever Kralen's equivalent of the me music is. to ignore Leon.
Leon sends another message. You can't drown me out. I will keep going. And it'll just
Another spoonful.
I don't think so. Go and talk to her, Ari.
Gris finishes her bowl of soup and looks pleadingly up at Ari. It says, "It seems that I'm out of some stew, and I have to admit, it was quite lovely." Pushes the bowl over to Ariani. "Do you mind asking me for another one? I think she could give me another one. Just one more bowl, please. Just for an old woman. I'm just so tired, and I healed you twice today. Just one more bowl of stew, please."
Ari just
Leon sends Gris a message.
pushes them. Yeah, go ahead.
Great work. Mm-hmm. Good job.
Just
You nailed it.
And Gris just kind of like
Killed it.
chuckles
You
in
did
her
so
head a little.
So Ari just pushes themselves off, standing up from the table, just grabs the bowl just very brusquely and starts kind of just stomp away from Gris like a petulant teenager, and then getting closer to when about halfway, getting closer and having seen Lily, head softens and just goes like, "I should probably not be stomping." But it's like a halt where it's like it's probably awkward if anyone saw that. We're just like stopped and goes like, "Okay, start walking less loud, and keep walking." And so I make it. Mm-hmm.
All right. Lily looks up as you approach and smiles at you genuinely and says, "Can I help you with something?"
My friend Gris has the soup is really lovely, and if they could maybe have some more, please.
Of course. I'd be happy to. And she puts the soup in a bowl from a large pot that she has, and she says, "My mother used to make it for me."
That's so. Did you learn? You learned it from her, then?
Oh yeah, she taught me everything that really mattered to know. She taught me how to heal and how to run the wind in and how to read, of course. And she sort of awkwardly gestures to her book. She's still holding the bowl of soup. She hasn't passed it to you yet. She's just as awkward as you are in this scenario.
Well, those are all good skills. What are you reading?
And at this moment, Gris and Leon are like
Dying over there.
trying not to lose it.
Leon is like experiencing so much secondhand uncomfortable because like she likes flirting, so she's sitting there like, could just say the words to both of them.
Lily smiles sort of awkwardly and she goes, "Oh, you're gonna think it's silly, but
Never.
It's a book of fairy tales. I always thought, they were wonderful stories of adventure and heroism and all sorts of lovely things." And she sort of smiles a little bit.
like fairy tales. A lot of them are historical, based on history.
Really? What? Like, which one is your favorite that's based on history?
I don't know the title. it was worn off. It was given to me. Because I have a journal with the last page missing. And I don't know how it ends, but... You...
Well, maybe you could tell me how it starts.
I don't fucking know.
She sort of, at this point, realizes that she's been holding Griss's fresh bowl of soup and blushes brilliantly red and says, "I'm so sorry. I'm sure you want to get back to your friends," and sort of hands you the bowl of soup.
Oh, thank you. You're, right. Okay, I start
Leon
to scurry
sends
away.
Ari a message
Wait.
before she scurries away. Before she scurries
Wait,
away,
I have one more.
Leon
Okay.
is like,
I have
"You
one
want
more
me to grab
thing
that?"
to do, Leon.
I was gonna say, you want me to grab that? I can grab that. You want me to grab that? I can grab that.
I just ignore her. I just keep humming the me song, and I just go. I turn back and I just go. Do you think I could get a drink?
She smiles and she says, "Oh, yes. I mean, we have ale and we have tea and we have mead. I'm partial to our and she sort of trails off. Well, we have a fruit mead that we prepare. It's served hot."
Well, I'd love to try it. Why don't you make that too?
I think
And
at
I
this
just
moment,
look at her, looking like eye contact.
At this moment, Griss is tired of waiting for her mushroom stew. Yes, she used that as a meat cute, but also she really wants that stew. So Griss kind of like gets up away from the table on her little leg and walks over up to Ari and to Lily and says, "For me, you shouldn't have," and takes the bowl and scurries back to the table.
Oh my
And I'm just like,
God.
stuck in the position of having the bowl.
Don't kill me.
Lily, wonderfully oblivious, as so many women are, sort of ladles some of this hot meat into cups, and she goes, "Oh, here, should I help you carry this over to the table?"
Sure, thank you.
Oh. Leon makes a noise at that. She's like, "Oh."
Just wait.
Lily follows Ari back to the table and sets the mead down on it.
Awesome. I sit down, and are they benches or chairs?
They're benches.
Cool. I sit down with enough space that someone else could sit down.
Lily blinks slowly.
Invite her. Griss chokes on her soup for a second.
Would you like to sit with us? You seem to know more about this riddle we may have, and I just look at Leon.
Leon like looks at Ari and is like, that's the line? She doesn't say this, but she's like, "That's the line, Ari?" And she picks up and she's like, "Yeah, we have this riddle going on, and any sort of outside perspective I think would lend some really great insight and company."
Lily takes a long sip of her mead and she goes, "Oh, well, I like riddles. What is it?"
It says, "Where hell opens, you meet your fate." I think it's the knives, after what you said.
Well, I mean, I heard that and I thought of Hell's Portal, the volcano, you know? And she sort of points at the map and she's like, "It's rather obvious when you think about it."
It's literally called Hell's Portal?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I think that
Do you
is far less of a riddle than I thought it was,
Yeah.
actually, now that I am coming to think of it.
do you
Is
have
that in the knives?
Yes, it's the volcano that birthed the knives.
I just like turn kind of towards her and go, "Do you know if there would be any any legends or other riddles associated with it?
She sort of stops to think for a moment, and she goes, well, I mean, the Gilded Sorcerer was thrown into Hell's Portal.
The who?
The Gilded Sorcerer. You know, the traitor of all elf kind.
Right.
She sort of like blinks at you. She like pushes her hand behind her ear again as if to make sure that she hadn't imagined you mirroring it before.
No, I'm just a dumbass. Yeah.
Wait, is this?
When did that happen? I did not pay attention, it seems.
Maybe 500 years ago? No one knows, really, but after the end of the Great War, he vanished, and they say that the people of the Knives took it upon themselves to enact justice.
Leon just says, do you think the people of the Knives would know more?
She
About
sort of
that person?
thinks for a moment. She goes, well, yes, but as you can see by the map, I have yet to meet anyone from the Knives.
Right, but let's say that we went to the Knives.
Yes.
You think that they would know more about
I'm
that?
sure, but everything I've read seems to say that people from the Knives are unfriendly and cold.
Well, we have an example of that right there, and I point at Galen.
I was gonna say.
She gets
Cold in more ways than one.
She gets very excited and she goes, he's from the Knives?
Aquara, actually.
Do you think when he wakes up he'd be willing
Yep.
to... And she like points at the map and all of the little X's that are drawn from people who've come from there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he would... On the map?
Yes.
You have to convince
Leon goes, honey, probably not.
But I just go, yes,
I'm gonna be honest.
whatever you want. Yes, he would. Yes, I'll remind him.
I mean, if Ari says it's so, it's so.
Yep.
She sort
Yeah.
of just smiles, once again getting that dreamy far-off look in her eyes as if she's imagining someplace else, and then seems to come to and goes, oh. And as she says, oh, the boy from before reappears behind her and taps on her back, and she leans over to him and he whispers something in her ear, and she says, oh, of course. Your rooms are ready.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. How many rooms are there?
2?
Okay. Leon says, listen. Somebody needs to watch over Galen. I need sleep. She looks at Ari and Gris. And then is like, so it's not gonna be me.
But
That's
we
what I'm
usually,
saying.
But we
The
usually,
nice way.
Yeah.
we usually bunk together, though. Ari and I.
I know, we're gonna have to split that this time. Ari, don't you usually just like meditate or something? Don't you just like zen right out? Like not actual sleep, it's just like a zen moment.
Lily, witnessing this microaggression, sort of clears her throat and says, well, if you follow me, perhaps you'll have a better understanding of what the rooms are like, and sort of gently grabs Ari's wrist and tugs them behind her and leads the party up the stairs.
And Gris is like looking at Leon like, should we give them a moment?
Like you're meant to be followed.
Gris is also downing the rest of her soup and thinking about downing the other half-eaten bowls that are sitting on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Who is taking Galen?
Nobody.
No, nobody really.
Leon, it sounds like if you don't take Galen, it's gonna be the little boy trying to like haul him up the stairs.
I can't carry him. Leon, look at me. I'm 3 feet tall.
Oh god, yeah, it's fine. Leon starts to like lug him up and like, why does this keep happening? She's like talking to him. He's unconscious, but she's like, why does this continue to happen? This is 2 times now. You have a shirt on this time, and that's fine.
Galen's eyes sort of flutter a little bit, and he's like, "Fuck you, Leon."
And Gris
Fuck
just
you too,
cackles.
Galen.
Yeah, I'm just being led along by Lily.
You're not even aware of
with
the
my
situation,
no
are you?
with this interaction. I'm following along with my monk though. I'm just like, oh, okay, and just take okay.
The little
Up
boy
the stairs.
follows Leon and Galen, and the whole group arrives at the top of the landing. There's several doors that seem to indicate that the inn has other guests, but they are locked, indicating that the doors have locks. The boy sort of pushes past everyone, and he, along with Lily, open two doors directly across from each other. These rooms are perfectly identical. The walls are solid wood and decorated with hand-painted flowers that very much resemble those on the sign. There is a small trunk at the end of each bed, both of which are pressed up against each wall, equidistant from the door. These trunks are decorated in kind of beautiful leaves and trees, also hand-painted. And adjacent to each bed is an end table, upon which rests a bundle of dried wildflowers and herbs.
Leon, like, without, like, she can't hold herself back. She's like, oh, a nice bed. Oh, yes. She's, like, overjoyed.
Lily sort of glances at Gris, having noticed her naming off the herbs in the soup earlier, and points to the bundle of wildflowers on each end table and says, chamomile and lavender with stems of lemon balm to help you sleep. And she smiles a little bit. My mother taught me something she learned in the Sea of Trees.
And Gris said, "The Sea of Trees, huh?" And just kind of nods knowingly, and
Eyes widen.
and she says, "What a wonderful combination of herbs to bring to someone who's looking for a good night's rest." And just like she just beams, because even though she's known Lily for all of like 10 minutes, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes now, who knows, she's just taken like a what's the word I'm looking for? She just really
Shine.
A shine, yes, enjoys Lily's company and just kind of her ways of herbal remedies and her mushroom stews.
Nice.
And she kind of squeezes her hand and says, "You must share that recipe for the stew, darling." And kind of wanders off into one of the rooms to check out the herbs.
When Gris says that, I just go, "It was her mom's."
And Gris just kind of eyes wide and looks over at Ari and says, quite lovely.
Lily beams at this and then turns to Leon with an apologetic smile and says, the tea should help him heal, but he needs rest. I would stay awake with him, but... And at this point, she trails off and casts a fond look at her younger brother, who is standing next to Galen and sort of looking up at him with something between admiration and fear, and says, he's a little young to keep this place out of danger by himself.
Completely understood.
Absolutely.
We can handle it.
And she smiles and she nods at everyone and gives Ari a huge beam, and then takes her brother's hand and leads him back down the stairs, and then pokes her head around the corner and says, if you need anything at all, I will be awake.
Leon walks into the room the opposite, like, so Gris walked into a room, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leon walks into the other room and says, Ari, you're following me. Yep. Come on, let's go.
Fine. And I just follow.
Thank you.
And Gris suddenly aware of what that means. So I get Galen, is that right?
No, she walks into the opposite room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're alone in a room right now. And Leon walked into the other one and encouraged Ari to come with her. So she says to her, wait, what is Leon doing? She walks into the room, looks at the beds. She goes, Ari, you have a preference?
Don't much have a choice, do I?
Right. So Leon, she then basically just like sloughs Galen off onto like fucking bed. She's just like, okay. He's on the bed now.
Galen
to-
says something unintelligible about his mother, but sort of flops onto bed without much consequence.
I'll make sure he doesn't die.
That's what I needed, Ari. And then Leon stops for a second and goes, "You and Lily, huh?"
Where are you in the room right now?
I'm like near the door. I'm like standing
I
right near
shut
the
the
door
door in
frame.
your face.
No, I'm in the room still.
Then I push you and close the door.
Can we roll a check to see if the push works?
So you are going to roll a strength saving throw, Leon.
Okay. Yeah, that ain't gonna be good. That is a 13 minus 1, 12.
That does not work. Ari gives you a hearty shove, not cruel, but clearly demonstrating that they don't want to talk about this anymore, and slams the door in your face.
Leon casts message, which can in fact go through
Yeah, I can.
doors, if she knows the target. And she goes, "Could have just asked me to leave, Ariadne."
That never works.
Subject! Touchy subject!
I just go,
And
"That
Leon turns
has that-
around and walks into the other room.
I just answer, has that, I like put my head against the, like put my back against the wall that I've just closed and go, has that ever worked?
Leon says out loud through the door, "Nope."
All right, so you
And
are
then
now
walks into the room with Gris.
in the room with Gris. Okay.
Yes.
Gris kind of looks up from the floor where she has undone the bundles of herbs and wildflowers and is kind of organizing them and seems to be maybe putting them in her satchel. Not really sure what's going on down here. Looks over at Leon and says, "Everything okay?"
Oh yeah, it's great. Oh, it's great. Oh, was that not just the most uncomfortable thing you've ever witnessed in your life?
And Gris comes around and says, "I've seen more uncomfortable, but man, that was a trip."
Say, Gris, you're married, which means you flirted, which means you successfully flirted. So I know that we got a little bit of a connection there in some way, shape, or form. And that was not the suavest flirting I've ever seen.
And Gris
By a long shot.
kind of chuckles and says, "Well, I did grow up with a man, and then we just kind of ended up together. But yeah, some flirting was had along the way."
One would hope. Leon's like can't fathom like romancing someone without flirting. She's like, there had to have been, right?
And Gris is like, "Probably more flirting from him than from me, but eventually he did kind of catch my attention, and here we are. He's comatose, and I'm looking for a way to cure him, so it's great."
Oh god. Leon's like all excited thinking that like Gris was gonna talk about her husband, and then she was like, and he's in a coma, and she was just like, right. That part. Okay. So Leon kind of takes a seat on the bed. And she says, "Do you agree with me on this?
On what exactly?
We have to go to the knives, right?"
I don't really know what the knives have to do with anything, but we followed you up to this point, and it's gotten us this far, and I have some weird glowing herb, and I'm told I'll know when I need
Of
to
a
use
what?
it. The herb, the glowing herb. I have the glowing herb, it's fine.
But I didn't. First of all, my first question: where did you even get that?
From the blind woman who spoke Sylvan.
I didn't see her give it to you.
She gave it to me in the market.
Like when
When Galen and I were off
you met her in the market.
the blind one? Of course I met her in the market. That's why
Why did none of you tell me this?
Well, that's why I trusted her later when she wanted to help Galen. Because I'd met her
Oh
before.
my god! I just thought you were really trusting.
Oh,
you
trusting?
met her
No.
before?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god! You know what we need to do? When Galen wakes up, we need to have a little bit of a sit down. We need to talk about communication.
Okay, like you've communicated, Leon. I mean, come on. There have been numerous times when we were trying to. Okay, for example, the untying thing. The only communication about the
What?
untying thing has been that you want us to untie you more often, evidently, and also you do magic. So maybe we should talk about how you felt in that instance.
Pissed off, Gris.
But were you pissed off at me? No. Were you pissed off at Ari?
No, you saved me. A little bit.
Yeah, but okay, were you pissed off at Galen?
Mostly.
Okay, so what could Galen
Like, there's no big difference there.
And Gris at this point is trying to like teach basic like this is how we resolve a conflict. And it's like, okay, so you had an issue with Galen. What might the issue have been? Maybe it was when he should have untied you and instead stabbed a dead body.
That would be the big moment. Yeah. I mean, like, there were other moments where you all could have untied me. Honestly, Gris, I'm really over this at this point. I just bring it up to be like a little saucy. I'm like not that pressed about it anymore.
I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about communication, we should talk about all types of communication, and some communication with you and Galen might be worth doing.
Leon ignores that comment full stop and is like, I'll play ball when he plays ball. And then she goes, Leon says, she's like, listen, Ari took us to this tomb. There ended up being a big spooky guy and a crown and a language that I can understand, but I don't know why I can understand it.
That's true.
And basically said where hell opens meets your fate. There's a volcano called Hell's Portal. To me, it seems like that's the next step.
Chris nods. It was kind of weird that you just kind of walked into the middle of that room and then you just sort of knew what the glowing words were saying. It feels like there is definitely some sort of connection maybe to you. And as if Gris is just now processing all of this and just now like making that point A to point B connection here. So if you want to go to the knives.
I think this has a greater connection. Like, yeah, okay, the language thing is strange. Leon's like trying to play that down because it freaked her out a lot, right? So she's like, the language thing is weird, but the riddle says that I just think we have the opportunity to follow this, and we have someone from the knives with us. So I think we need to go there next. I think that has to be our next step. I think we need to go to the knives.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, I just, I've never heard of the knives, let alone been to the knives. I mean, why is it even called the knives? But if that's what you feel like we need to do, I mean, I still don't really even know anything about this whole Tale of the Dreamer at the End of the World thing and how it relates to Reese and what the hell I'm supposed to do. So I feel like I don't have any closure, so we might as well freaking go to the knives.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we might get answers because Ari took us to this place thinking that they had an answer for Dreamer at the End of the World. Right? It was a stone bed.
That's true.
It's right?
And Gris kind of flips through her things really quickly and is looking once again for that torn piece of paper.
So, sure, okay, maybe it is a little different potentially than the clue we're expecting, or perhaps you were expecting a solution. But I feel like there's more to it than this, and I don't know. I just need us to have a united front because Galen is not going to want to go.
You make a good point. I didn't even think about that. He did say that he had.
I did.
Well, of course, that's why we're talking right now. He did say he had some issues with his mother at this point too, right? I imagine she's probably sealed back in the knives. And I'm looking, the Song of the Dreamer at the End of the World does reference hell. I think you might be right that we should go to the knives after all.
I think you and I need to have a united front when Galen wakens from his wounds, if you will. We'll put that gently, shall we? His impalement, if you will. I think no, impalement's the wrong word. Bludgeoning. Thank you. His bludgeoning, if you will. And she's like, yeah, I really think it's important that we have a united front However, on that note, I have been getting the worst sleep. I'm tired, and I don't have much health, and you don't have much health. I think we should sleep.
Gris kind of grunts, begins putting away all the herbs and packing back up her bag and stowing them in the trunk at the foot of the bed that she kind of takes a moment to look at, enjoying the painted leaves, the painted trees, things like that, things that remind her of home, and shoves her bag in there and says, yeah, I'm pretty burnt after today. And she said, burnt. And chuckles and then pulls herself.
Leon also chuckles and is like, oh my god.
So, are you all headed to bed or to meditation?
I want to do one more thing.
All right.
Okay, Gris is headed to bed for sure.
Cool. They're heading to bed. Considering I still first of all, I look over to Galen. I'm just like, that whatever position he ended up in is the way he's staying. I go, I like
just like a flop.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just like start putting my stuff down and put my bag down like on the other bed and stuff. And I grab the the mug, the tankard that I brought up with me. And I scurry through, I rummage through my bag and I pull out a very thin bound book, just a very thin book with the title that's been a cloth cover that's been worn off, and with the last page missing. And I head downstairs very quietly, and look for Lily.
Lily is seated at the bar. She appears to have dozed off on her book.
Okay. I, not wanting to wake her, I try, tiptoe closer and just try and gently set them down and set the book also close to her. And just, stand there for a second, okay. And then turn around and start heading back.
About halfway up the stairs, you hear a sleepy voice say, "Thank you, Ari."
Yeah, I pause. I just say, you're welcome, and keep going. Probably creaky stairs, snitching on me.
You return to the room.
Awesome. So I'm back at the room, and yeah. Then I just look around. Don't think there's much else to do, but I just sit down and I just get under the covers. And I glance at Galen again, and I'm just thinking it's all your fault. You could have just not taken the crowd, but it's fine. And as I'm getting in bed, and then I just I close my eyes and either trance or try and sleep. I don't need that much sleep though.
All right. So
enough that if he stirred, I would wake.
Perfect. All right. So you do that. In the other room, Leon sort of gets into bed before Gris, who's still sort of packing away her herbs, and seems to doze off. But Gris, as you climb into bed, you can hear Leon muttering in her sleep in a language you haven't heard before, and she seems to toss and turn and then sort of settles into sleep. We will be back next week at 6 p.m. MST, 8 p.m. EST. I can do time zone math.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Brain did not want to have an answer for y'all there. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friends, to easily the gayest episode we've had.
Oh yeah. There was so much gay panic.
Oh my god, and also thank you to the anonymous sub-gifter who gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Powerface, thank you so much for that prime tier 1 sub. We really, really appreciate it. That means that we get to upload
Does
Gris
that get
Cozy.
us to Gris?
Gris
Yeah.
Cozy.
So
Gris Cozy.
that should be up by next week. Next week we will have Galen back, presuming that Ari does not let him die in his slumber. It's,
Well,
you're never quite sure. But thank you all for tuning in and for bearing witness to Leon's premiere in battle, which I think we all thought was
That's
going to
true.
have more magic happen. We will see you next week.
Hello.
Thank you so much for
Yes, make
being
good
here.
spells.
Be sure to DM a mod with a picture of your bingo card if you got bingo. Our bingo channel is super great. You get to ask questions of the cast and of me and get all kinds of information you don't get on stream. So thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. We really appreciate you guys being here.
Appreciate you all so
Bye,
much.
thank you
Y'all are the
guys.
best.